My gosh, that is a beautiful deer. What's up, guys, and once again, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Do you guys want to know how to spawn a Mule Deer Great One with ease here in a ski ridge on the Hunter called Wild? Well, that, my friends, is exactly what I'm going to be teaching you guys to do. The Mule Deer grind is one of the easiest grinds to herd manage, if not the easiest grind to herd manage, just because of the low amount of zones here in a ski ridge. The diamond rate is so consistent here in this grind, and 441 kills in, here is my Great One Mule Deer. It is the Velvet Rack with the Dripple Drizzle fur type. By the time this video comes out, it will already be shot, and the video on it should already be out. My goal by the end of today's video is to help you guys put one of these beautiful deer in your lodge. Without further ado, my friends, let's go ahead and dive right in. So the very first step to the Mule Deer Great One grind, and quite frankly any grind that you're going to do here in the game, is to go ahead and find all of your mule deer drink zones. Now this is going to be a very easy task here in a ski ridge. I did all of my drink zone finding literally in one live stream in just around 2.5 hours. Now that may seem like a lot, but grinds like Whitetail and Reventuli Coast, or Moose and Medved or Layton, for example, that literally took me, as someone who plays this game 5 days a week, sometimes up to 12 hours a day, several days to find all of my zones. Not to mention the whole herd management process, but thankfully for us, there is only 23 lakes that mule deer can drink at here in a ski ridge. Now give me just a minute, as I'm going to share with you a detailed hotspot map showing you where every single one of those lakes are, but these are the lakes that I'm set up at, and these are the lakes that I'm rotating through. Now what you're going to want to do when you're getting set up for the mule deer grind is go ahead and pick your first zone. Doesn't matter which zone, it just obviously has to have mule deer at it. Also, try not to make it a solo zone that's a zone with only males in it, or only one male in it sometimes, as when you shoot a solo zone, that zone will then vanish and then respawn somewhere completely random on the map. For the mule deer, I haven't really had too much trouble with the solos. I've only really had solos at this lake, I believe, but I get through so many lakes on a rotation to rotation basis that if I did shoot a solo, chances are I'm gonna see it when I'm doing my rotations. Now once you've picked your zone, what I want you guys to do is go ahead and run up to the lake's edge. Oh, there's gray wolves up there, so my mule deer might not be spawned in, but once you get here, figure out where your mule deer are exactly standing at. And for me, I believe their zone is, it shows that they're drinking right here, but I remember them being on this side of the lake. Believe me, I've shot this zone probably 300 times so far. Once you get a spot on one of them, go ahead and drop a waypoint exactly where it's showing them at. When you spot an animal, this little previously spotted thing shows up, so just click on it, drop a waypoint. For me, it's probably going to be around there. Then what you're going to want to do after that is go ahead, make sure you have tents and tripods on you. Drop your tripod at around 164 meters. I do have to kind of shoot through the trees here, but with a 300 in the Odin scope, it's usually not that big of a deal. Placing the tripod 164 meters from your zone is going to make it so that way you can sprint directly into the tripod with no issue and just get to shooting, which is what we all want to do, right? And then as for tent placement, with that waypoint still where you've seen those mule deer standing, they are going to be in the same place pretty much every time. You're going to want to run exactly 250 meters from where you've seen them standing at. Oh look, there's a mule deer out there now. Because the spook radius for tents is around 230 meters, I believe. I like to place all mine at 250 just to be safe. And then once your herd management starts to come to an end, meaning that your map is almost fully shot down, which is something I'd say I'm about 75% of the way done with, I still have about 10 diamonds on my map that I haven't shot. That shows you what Squid's been up to lately. Don't worry, we're going to talk about herd management here in just a few minutes, but once you do finish that process, you guys can start to use your pickup tents. And the simple explanation of a pickup tent is a tent that you place directly on top of the zone that you're shooting, so that way once you're done shooting, you don't have to run all the way over, which here in a ski ridge, most of the lakes are tiny, so it's really not that big of a deal, but it does save a little bit of time. And it just completely eliminates that running process from your tripod to your zone. And over time, it does add up to several hours, I will admit. You'll notice some of my lakes have only tripods, and that's because those lakes are shot down. I pulled my tent because I wasn't shooting those lakes anymore, and I plan to place them down on my very favorite lakes as pickup tents once I shoot my Great One. So herd management, or HM, however you want to put it, it's gonna make your zones look like this. Level 5 number 1, level 5 number 2, absolute giant level 4, and just big shooter deer in general is what your main zones are going to be absolutely filled with. The fact that I have 2 diamonds in the same zone right here is extremely rare, and I mean, I would say that it really, without an insane amount of luck, only happens when you are extremely herd managed. So there's another big 4 out there. So herd management for mule deer is relatively easy. I would say easier than the fallow grind, which was the previous easiest grind here in the Hunter Call of the Wild. Look at that beautiful diamond right there. And the reason for this is because instead of shooting my mule deer down to a specific trophy estimate, I shoot them down to a specific weight. I'm gonna get into that here in just a second once I make sure that this 4 here goes down, and he's dropping, so should be good there. Okay, this would be our level 3 here. Beautiful double lung from the 300. And a huge tip when grinding. People yap at me all the time for this. Using a class 7 and 9 rifle when grinding any species, besides the pheasants, because it's hard to shoot a pheasant in the air with a 300. I mean, even the red fox grind, the tar grind, it just makes that tracking process way less. If not, it completely eliminates it. As for example with this deer, all you really need is a double lung and it goes straight down. Okay, so what I want you guys to do is go ahead and have a look at the weight estimate on this rare mule deer buck here. I'm stacking this to shoot in my live stream today, that's why I'm not going to shoot it. The weight estimate on this mule deer buck is 175 to 210. Now this is their max weight estimate. It does not get any bigger than this. If you spot a deer that has a bigger weight estimate, well, chances are it's most likely a great one. When you find a level 5, their weight estimate is always 175 to 210. Big 3s and level 4s also have 175 to 210 weight estimates. This is most definitely a shooter deer, in the sense of herd management at least. Anytime that you spot a deer with this weight estimate, unless it is a level 5, we'll get to talking about that here in a little bit, you're gonna want to go ahead and shoot it. As for now, if you spawn any level 5s, just leave them on your map, as I'll explain the stacking technique here in just a little bit. Now this buck over here has a weight estimate of 140 to 175. This is a weight that I like to call mid-weight. This is most definitely a shooter buck, and anytime that you spot one of these, no matter where or what it is, you're gonna want to go ahead and shoot it. In fact, I'm gonna go ahead and drop a shot into that guy right now, and there he goes. And then the third and final weight estimate here on our list today is 105 to 140. You're most commonly going to see this estimate on level 2s, but even the level 1 bucks, which is quite frankly rare to see, I haven't seen very many of them at least, will also have that 105 to 140 weight estimate. Now this is minimum weight, they do not get any lighter than this, unless it's a female, but in a Great One grind, females play no part, as every time you shoot a male, there's a small chance it can come back as a Great One, and that small chance is what you're relying on over, well, it could be 10 kills, it could be thousands of kills. Now the whole goal with herd management is to make it so that way every single zone on your map, besides the 8 to 10 zones that you choose to rotate off of, aka your main zones, are filled with tiny deer. In the mule deer grind, a tiny deer classifies as this buck right here, a buck with that 105 to 140 weight estimate. Now every now and then you'll see a heavier level 2 with that 140 to 175 weight estimate. If it's a level 2, just go ahead and leave it. He might just be a little bit heavier than the other level 2s, his rack might have a couple extra points. I've been leaving quite literally any level 2 that I find, but if it's like borderline level 3, I'm gonna leave it up to you guys whether you want your herd management to be that heavy or not. For me, if it has like a noticeably big rack, chances are I'm gonna shoot it, but I can't tell you the amount of times I've left a level 2 with that same 140 to 175 weight estimate that you usually see on the level 3s. Speaking of that, this is a zone that I strongly dislike, so what I'm gonna do here is I'm not gonna shoot this guy. He's gonna be here for the rest of eternity. That is a shot down deer. There's nothing you need to do with him anymore besides leave him there. I'm gonna go ahead and get this guy out of here in hopes that he respawns as a tiny little buck with that 105 to 140 weight estimate there. And the reason that I want this to happen, just to make myself extremely clear here, is because of the fact that when there's a ton of those small minimum weight estimate animals on your map, the game is gonna basically think to itself. It's just the way it's programmed, but let's put it in easy terms here. There is a lot of tiny animals on the map, therefore I need to balance the population out by spawning bigger animals, which a lot of the time ends up being level 5s and several big level 3s and 4s. And that, my friends, is why herd management spawns you tons of diamonds. Now, just to be even more clear here, because a lot of people get confused with this, let's say for example this was a main zone, meaning I like this zone. After I shoot down all of my other zones to tiny deer, I want to still rotate through this zone and maybe even spawn my great one in it. Listen very closely here, guys. In a main zone, any buck dies. Some people will leave tiny bucks in their zones in confusion with the fact that you're not supposed to shoot them in your exterior zones. Unless it is a level 5, a guaranteed diamond, any buck in your main zones should always go down. Just to make myself clear on that, that's my goal with my guides, and that's kind of what I'm known for here on YouTube, is explaining things very well. Speaking of that, I put a lot of time into these videos. If you guys haven't already, please go down there, smash that like button, and subscribe. My goal is 10K by the end of the year, and it is always very much appreciated. Now, at this point in the video, I'm going to go ahead and toss a Mule Deer hotspot map up on screen for you guys, kindly provided by my good friend ProXCK. He makes some very detailed hotspot maps. All of these maps for a ski ridge can be found in my Discord server and in his Discord server, which are both linked down in the description below. As always, huge shout out to ProXCK for allowing me to use these maps in my videos and in my Discord. And without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about the last strategy of today's video that's gonna help you get that Great One mule deer onto your map. Okay, so last but most definitely not least, what you guys have all been waiting for, stacking. What does stacking diamonds do for your grind? Well, as I mentioned earlier, we kind of talked about how the game, quite frankly, thinks to itself. When there's small animals on the map, I should spawn larger animals, yada yada, just to balance out the population, which, I mean, that's how the game's programmed to work. It's kind of that same scenario, but it's the opposite. So before I explain this, as I mentioned, the goal is to fill every single zone besides your 8 to 10 main zones that you're gonna go ahead and pick. Those are just zones that you like, they're wide open, they have a lot of deer in them, you go ahead and pick them. The goal is to get them all shot down to that minimum estimate weight, and having max level animals on your map will quite basically make the game think to itself, hey, there's a lot of max level animals on the map, so therefore to balance out the population, I'm gonna spawn a ton of tiny little deer. And that, my friends, is exactly what you want for filling up your exterior zones with small deer. So having those max level animals in your main zones, if you find a level 5 in your exterior zone or a zone that you're not planning to consistently grind at in the future once your HM is done, definitely go ahead and shoot that level 5. But having those 5s in your main zones is going to help you shoot down those exteriors so much faster, and efficiency is most definitely key when Great One grinding, my friends. Once you know that you're fully herd managed, there's really no point in stacking. I just do it because I like to make YouTube shorts about shooting 10 diamonds in a row sometimes. And also, just to let you guys know, checking your exterior zones even after you're fully shot down is always a great idea. I have had this happen multiple times. The most recent was my second white-tailed deer Great One. I've had them spawn in exterior zones, and God knows how long they were there for, just because of the fact I thought I was fully shot down, and it's just not possible for any large-sized male to jump to those zones. And it is very possible, my friends. I've had level 5 mule deer jump to exterior zones that I've found. I've had level 3 whitetail respawn in exterior zones that I thought were shot down. The animals are always jumping around, that's just the way it works. I'm not saying that it's something that's going to happen a lot by any means once you're fully shot down, but it can happen, and that possibility is more than enough to draw me to go check those exterior zones. I'd say like every 2 or 3 rotations for the first few weeks of your grind at least. As always, thank you guys all so much for making it to this point in the video. If you did, go ahead and comment cookie down below and I'll pin the first person who makes it to it. It is very much appreciated that you guys watch this far into my videos. The amount of time and effort that goes into these videos is truly insane, and your support is very much appreciated. Speaking of support, if you guys haven't smashed that subscribe button yet, please do, as YouTube tells me that over 80% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel. And my goal by the end of 2025, as mentioned, is not only to reach 10,000 subscribers, but also to get that margin above 50%. That is half participation. I'm only asking for half of you guys to smash that subscribe button, half of you guys that watch my videos. If you're watching and you're enjoying the content, you might as well just drop Squid a sub, right? It's 100% free, very easy to do. Without further ado, my friends, my name is Squid. Thank you guys all so much for watching, and as always, we'll see you in the next one.